What is up, my lovely fiends? And today we'll have another episode, I guess episode 2 of Labrynth the Masters. We'll get right into it. It's just, I think, 7 games that we got today. I don't think any of them are terribly long, except not super long the last one, but the last one's going to be a good one. I got these all in yesterday. This is essentially my grind from, what do you call it? Rank 3 to 2. Diamond 3 to 2, excuse me. So, going second, right? Usually it's going to be the more skillful type of game. Ooh, it's a mirror match. Ooh, surprising. I just got done uploading all this rank or the event gameplay, right? And then boom, right back at it. But at the end phase, I pitch a big welcome for the cost of the stove, so I could set probably another big welcome. And because I have Lady in hand, I'll be able to get her out. And the big welcome engrave will be live, so I'll be able to bounce one of the traps. I don't have object permanence, so I literally forget which one was the one that he set with his own stove. So I was like, oop, well, let's see here, right? We'll live and learn, right? I don't think it was that one. I think that was one of his normal sets. And yeah, we'll see. This was the welcome. That would have been a better one to hit, because I for sure would have won the game handily there. He brings out Eradicator. Okay, cool. Bounce this lady to hand. Start chaining stuff. I think he realized as soon as the stove comes out, Perfect's next. I would have just popped the Eradicator. Yeah, it was pretty much GG. I think he chained things wrong and he was a little too impatient. But even I could have played that better if I literally would have bounced the welcome. He wouldn't have been able to do any of that. So, number 2. My favorite number, because I like to shit on my fucking opponents. So, let's see here. Eradicator. E for Eradicator, am I right? I'm going first. Oh, and, you know, I mentioned last episode, right? I was like, oh, you know, I put in the side frames, and typically in any deck, you'd be like, this is fucking poo-poo, trash, caca, right? Like, I fucking hate this. Well, not in Labrynth. Like I mentioned before, if you're able to have just a bunch of hand traps, and then the furniture cards, they could discard anything you don't want, including the garden in the deck, which is even that bad. Because you're frequently special summoning, and you'll still sometimes be able to tribute this off and beat someone for 2,500. It's not bad. Not the worst. I wasn't mad. As you'll see, I'll bring up the lady. I'll send this, stove, send the dead card and the garnet, right? The side frame. Which one was this one? Driver. And I'll coup clock. I could have done that differently. I did misplay in the sense that I should have coup clocked first. And then sent them, so then coup clock could have came back to my hand, but it didn't really matter that much. I'm just activating one effect. Boom, bring out the lovely, pop one in hand. I didn't know what the fuck this was until after I looked at his deck list that this is generator. I was like, huh? I was just like, well, I think I'm like good to just Eradicator spells. Like, I'm literally just chilling, I think. Bring out big welcome lady. Yeah, he didn't even. He saw the Eradicator was set, and a lot of them play a lot of spells. Let's see here. We'll double check, but yeah, whenever you see it at level 9, some generator bullshit's going on here. Lone Fire probably for Mardell. I run one Mardell in my Rika deck, actually. I think she's a really good card. But yeah, look at all those spells. I probably would have hit something pretty important, right, out of his hand. So yeah, game 3. But yeah, it was technically my first game against Generator in ranked, and unfortunately I just shapoo-pooed all over him. Yeah, that's a pretty good, Eradicator on draw type of deal, but that was like, I think the only time I was able to pull it off so far. I think it doesn't happen a lot. Sometimes the stuff has to kind of align for that. He ashes that. I'm like, okay, great, fantastic. And I don't really have like the best going first hand. This would be pretty decent going second. Obviously because of evenly, but it's not the end of the world. I still got furniture that I could pitch to evenly for something else. So let's that's exactly what I do. Welcome, since I have big welcome and imperm. These, like, it looks unassuming, but these are like the 3 best traps arguably in my deck. So yeah, we'll see how they work. Oh, second Ash. Fucking fantastic, dude. All right, and then I bounced Lady to hand because of the big welcome, but because of that, at least I'm able to bring the furniture back. Sky Striker. I'm like, oh boy, what's going on here? Let me just bring her out. So I don't want him to get a direct hit on this guy, and he could attack directly. I didn't notice that right away, but either way, I was planning on imperming him. It was just a matter if I wanted to let him get the damage or not, and I figured not to. And that gives me an Eradicator. Guess what? I know these fuckers run nothing but spells, so he's gonna go with Kagari. Kagari adds the mecha whatever. Whatever this one is. So he's gonna grab, from your deck to your hand. So he grabs one. The Widow, is this the Widow Anchor? Yeah. This targets, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this targets. So I don't know what he was trying to do there. I guess reading in Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty good, right? So, because guess what? Untargetable when there's a set card. Yeah, it's kind of like the new boss monster of the deck. Guess what? I could just fucking big welcome and return his back row to the hand. I figured it was something important, and I could handle anything else he has because, I was just about to fuck his entire world up. Look at all these spells. It's too bad they wouldn't let me record it for the video. It would have been, you know what I mean? Just Eradicator. But that was a fair use of Eradicator. I searched it. I didn't do it on the draw. He's playing a stupid deck with all spells. It's really on him. I think Sky Striker's kind of dumb. I'm not really a fan. I think it's pretty boring and lame. I wasn't around. I was around, but I wasn't playing ranked or whatever, card Yu-Gi-Oh regionals and shit. When it was in its prime, so I don't have a lot of respect for the deck that a lot of people do, right? When you live through Zoo, right? If you live through Spiral, which those I did play through, and I fucking hate those decks, right? Tier is a more recent and still painful one we're living through. Yeah, you could Ash a Gamma, right? I was like, oh, well, that's too bad. And I'm like, oh, this isn't once per turn. They give you the check, but it's not once per turn. So I'm just going to wait for him to do the other effect. Yeah, and then I pop that one. So he probably shouldn't have I don't know. You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. I sent Big Welcome because it's just good to have Big Welcome in the grave. I didn't want to get rid of Ariana or my pot of Extrav for the Chandelier or whatever I sent. But he's able to Rafflesia, whatever. My misplay is I should have done that probably before he was going to start exiting. I didn't really know. I should have known. There were 2 4s. That's what they do if they can't link. It's going to be some type of Xyz play. And I should have just, sent that before so that I could have an extra, probably regular welcome Labrynth set. These go away because, Psyframe stuff. They get banished. And I am a fucking moron. I read the effect and I just forgot. That's on me, right? I just wasted one really, really solid trap card that would have been very, very, very good on the next turn, right? Especially against trap tricks. Extrav, he instantly maxes. Okay, whatever. I don't think I'm going to be special summoning that much, to be honest. I think I'll special summon 1 card. He brings this back from the grave. Remember, only when it's link summon it's unaffected by trap. So we're kind of chilling. But I have to beat or get through this Rafflesia. So I feign the evenly. I have a short video up where I just literally bait it and someone just folds. A Trap Tricks player, ironically enough, just instantly surrenders. So yeah, I knew I wasn't going to be beating over anyone. I couldn't even attack this one, right, because of Rafflesia, right? Yeah. Or I can't target with card effects. But either way, because this is up, I just would have done the 800 damage. It would have been worth it. So grab Lady. I'm going to special summon Lady. And set the 2. He also doesn't read, so he throws me a bone. Again, can't be destroyed, can't be targeted. So with Bottomless, it destroys first before it banishes. Not going to happen, right? I read it, and I just let it happen. I didn't chain anything. I was like, wait, this guy's a fucking idiot. So I'm an idiot. He's an idiot. We're all idiots. Everyone's screaming for idiocy. So he grabs the chain hole. That's important to know for next turn. But yeah, I'm going to bounce the Rafflesia. I don't want him doing any more bullshit with that. This one I don't mind because I'm probably just, compulsing it. He chains. I welcome. He ashes. Okay, so all my effects get negated. He's gonna ban. I let him, instead of me banishing a lady from my deck because of Chain Hole. I'm just like, I don't need this. He could banish this. I don't care, because now what are you gonna do, right? I'm able to draw, and I draw a pretty decent card. Ghost Bell would have still went pretty good against him because there's still a lot of graveyard and trap recursion in trap tricks. So, he kind of ate shit there. I believe that was this kind of dude. Yeah, that was their deck list. I think I might show their deck list after, so there's no spoilers, and it helps me keep track of who was who. So that was Kana. Wait, right? Yeah, all right. So Solid Snake. I never really played those games. Shout out to my friend Felix. Sorry, I'm about to shapoopy over a Solid Snake player. Okay, and I hope my mic doesn't pick up anybody screaming from outside, because, city life shit. So I have actually a really cracked going second hand, right? I have 2 interruptions, and I have a fucking evenly. I'm really happy that this is why I like the furniture build now, because you could literally put in all these hand traps, and you could actually go second and be okay. So I think I just Ash this first. Yeah. I had a choice between Ash or Psyframe, but I thought Ash was the safer play, in case he tries to get another one out, which he does. So he's really does pitches a max. I'm like, wow, that's his entire hand gone. And I prevent him from getting Runic Fountain, just straight up. And I still have an evenly, doesn't matter, right? Because I overkilled him with this. But I summoned the Ariana. He just folds. He even see the worst of it. He'd even see the fucking Necro Valley in my hand. Yeah, that was hilarious. And eventually I think I would have gotten Eradicator anyway, to shapoopy all over him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So number 6, our penultimate game. This was, the second to last one to get me ranked up to Diamond 2. These were some shorter games, besides me just talking my thoughts over them. I'm going to try to keep them these videos under 20, ideally under 15 minutes. So I asked that right away. If a Sprite player does this, they're hurting pretty bad, right? This isn't their first line, right? They get 2 locked right away. You don't always want to do that. So I just you know what? I will just Ash off the rip and see what he has to do. Call by. I'm like, okay. So some people are just built it. This happens. If you see any Sprite matchup in my videos, they always open the fucking nuts, dude. They'll have called by Sprite starter, a level 2 in their hand. Excuse me. Maxi, Ash, and evenly. Or crossout designator. You know what I mean? Just some bullshit. Dude. And that's all they need is something usually like this. But fortunately, I do have the imperm. So I do take the risk. Typically, I usually wait. Sometimes it is the smarter play is just to wait till after they activate a Sprite Alpha effect. You imperm that. Or since he's already 2 locked, he might just go into the Gigantic Sprite. Again, same thing. Those are the big choke points of the deck. But again, he right off the rip Sprite started. So I'm just going to imperm this and see what he's got, because I don't think he has another 2 in hand. And I was right. So I Stove pitched the Prosperity. Not going to need both Pot of Extra and Prosperity. I figured the drawing advantage would just be better instead of me picking one, because essentially it would probably be me picking a Welcome Labrynth anyway. So that's why I set that. So I have some gas for the next turn that I'm able to, just do right away. He maxis. I'm like, interesting. Like I said, they always have maxi, call by, right? So draw 2. I'm in a very commanding position, because guess what? I'm just going to revive the Imperm again. This literally shuts their entire deck down. I happen to open the field. I got that welcome. I drew into that welcome. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm just going to pop this right away. And then pop one in hand. Before you can even let me pop one in hand, I know he's hurting. So, wow, that's all bad. Because he had to have drawn into that, I think, into the Psyframe. Because or else last game he probably would have just done it. You know what I mean? He would have just had it, right? Because he had to draw into this, because then he would have been able to do a bunch of probably other stuff for free. Or I guess he had no 2s, right? Whatever. He kind of bricked. I don't feel bad for them, because they run, even more egregious than like all hand traps, right? Than like what my deck does. They have the call by, you see, they have like evenly, they have all that stuff. Obviously I run evenly, but I always feel like evenly is more justified if you're actually running a trap deck. Now like Tearlaman and all of them are running evenly, speaking of which. So draw 2. I'm like, this is a pretty solid hand, and I mentioned this probably in a previous video. I typically like keeping my evenly in my hand. I just know it, right? If I don't have any back row protection, I don't run Lord in the furniture build. I might maybe soon. We'll see. I might toy around with it, but for now, I'm open to being evenly. I'm totally vulnerable to harpies, and you know what I mean. So I'll just keep the evenly in hand because it's very possible for them to get rid of all that. Although I could chain 3 of my 4 face downs to anything they do, essentially. But I right off the rip, I just lovely lady, bounce lady. I want to see what he's got in his hand. Oh, that is a fucking snipe. And this was my promotion game, and I don't know if it showed, but they were already Diamond 2, so that's Konami. Like, every time you're about to promote, they're going to give you someone that's already fucking on fire, or they're about to promote, or they're in a rank above you, which is amazing for the matchmaking system, right? So, but me sniping that is huge, right? Because these guys, I think, are just at 2. Yeah. So he's got one more. Hopefully, it surely isn't in his hand, right? Right? Brandon lost. Okay, so I just instantly get lady out. This was the gigantic miss. I thought about it as soon as I did it. I was like, these assholes run 3 super poly. Like I used to. I took out the super polys, but it makes even more sense, right, for their deck. That's essentially what their deck does. It's all fusioning. They got a main monster effect that just super polys. It is what it is, right? I should have just been patient. I should have just left the lovely out because he would have had to summon or dedicate something on the field to that. So now he's got a lot of advantage off the Garura. And because of that, right, the branded loss, so, right, he's starting to do stuff. He has the Aluber in hand, and he tries to brand it in red. I read it. I'm like, graveyard add a hand. Looks like it's Metaverse Necro Valley time. I'm telling you guys, it's such a cracked you could just run the 1, so you don't have to clog your deck up. And like you saw, if I open this, I could just play it and win all of my matchups. And yes, it hurts your deck a little bit, but guess what? It hurts your opponent far, far more than it hurts you. So, and if you know how to play it right and do all your effects around it first, you'll be chilling. And yeah, he did have the second branded, which I'm glad I saved the Ash for. Go fuck yourself, right? And that's why I didn't want to Ash the Aluber right away too, because I want to see what he was going to add. But I guess he just had that. He was a smart player. He was trying to get me to use up everything in my hand before I did that. So I think I played everything besides this stupid super poly. You wouldn't have had this. That would have burned me for an extra 15k, right? Because Garura, even when they attack directly, doubles. And they're going to get card advantage whenever I remove it, assuming I destroy it, right? Besides banish. Because I have evenly in my hand. This is one instance where setting evenly would have been good, right? I think it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I set the maxi because I can't let him kill me. I should have set the evenly. I don't know why I didn't set the evenly. I have Necro Valley out. It's looking rough. I'm at 200 life points. That didn't need to be that bad, or I could have started evenly and started removing a bunch of the stuff, generate some advantage with my deck. But boom, I top deck the top deck of the century. The heart of the cards, Ariana. I'm like, oh, I'm like in this game. I'm so in this game. So I'm able to beat over the Garura. He draws one, whatever. I don't think it'll be too much. There's a universe where I didn't even need to do that. Maybe to even let him draw, because he's got everything pretty much on the field right now. He doesn't have access to his graveyard because of Necro Valley. So, you know. Boom, I bring out the lovely. Bounce Ariana to hand. I'm going to imperm the Fallen Albaz, because like I said, that's what their deck does. They try to super poly your shit away. So I negate that and the branded loss in that column. I bring out D-Barrier for follow-up. He doesn't know how Necro Valley works. Pass back to me. And I top It was so over. It wasn't even funny, right? D-Barrier, Eradicator, Ariana. I don't need to describe why I was going to do what I did to him, right? So, let's hold a moment of silence for my opponent. Thank you for getting me to Diamond 2. And yeah, I'll catch you guys around. Hopefully, I'll be Diamond 1 next game or next episode. So, stay fiending. Yeah, let's do that one. Stay fiending, my fucking fiends.